Liberia President George Weah conceded election defeat to opposition leader Joseph Boakai after a tight race, ending a presidency marred by graft allegations, but helping to ensure a smooth transition of power in the once volatile African nation. Now, the 78-year-old Boakai, a former vice president who lost to Weah in the 2017 election, led with 50.9% of the vote over Weah's 49.1%, a close margin if you ask me, with nearly all the votes counted. Now, Boakai says the election result and the margin shows the division in the country. Weah's concession paves the way for Liberia's second democratic transfer of power in over 7 decades. The first was when Weah swept to power 6 years ago. His comments stood out in West and Central Africa, where there have been 8 military coups in 3 years, eroding faith in democratic elections. Now, when elections do go ahead in the region, apologies for that. When elections do go ahead in the region, accusations of fraud abound and results are frequently contested in the court. But that didn't exactly seem to be the case. It was a tight election, and then it resulted into a runoff. But anyways, joining us to have the conversation today, we are joined by Miatta Yeayeah, Executive Director, Sisters Hand Liberia, all the way from Monrovia. Thank you so much, Miatta, for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you join us as well.
You'll bear with me a little. You'll bear with me a little bit. In the hearing, the Independent Election Commission will let go ahead.
That's fine, Miatta. We'll make do with what we have. Okay, let's go straight to the conversation now. I'm talking about the just concluded elections. I mean, a lot of people are curious to know what exactly are the factors that led to Joseph Boakai's victory. We do understand that a lot of people were not pleased with Judge Weah's administration, but he seemed to still have, a fair percent of the vote when it was when the elections took place, and even at the runoff. So, what factors gave Boakai that edge over Weah?
I believe for the past from 2018 up to present, every sector of our country broke down. The education system broke down, the health system broke down, the judicial system went collapsed. I would say the judicial system completely collapsed. And we also have to know our country is a youthful population, and have a huge percentage of the youth are not educated, coming from 1990 all the way to 2003. We have a huge number of our population that's uneducated. So, and we see those population leaning towards the outgoing president, because there's a saying at the thing, okay, I don't have to go to school, I don't have to have an education, I can be president later on. And when the outgoing president came to power, for the appointment he made were incompetent people. So the youth that don't want to go to school, they don't want to do anything, they believe that without education, you can become a director, you can become a deputy minister, and the list go on. And then you have the other side of the population that say, you know what, I think these young people deserve opportunity, vocational opportunity. The one that really broke the candle by is the justice system. I mean, within 6 years, the system broke down, collapsed completely. There's no way from baton to task, from police to the court, whatever. And violence against women and children increased, I don't know to how many number. And you also have extrajudicial killing. It was every week, it was body farm somewhere. We have 5 or more auditors that were killed back to back. No clue whatsoever. And we will find, we wake up, there's a young woman body farm on the dump site, body part cut up, breast cut up, tongue cut up, and there's no justice, there's no clue.
Okay.
So people were just really tired. But because of this other group of people that we have, they also leave wars to the outgoing president. Because the thing without education, you can become president overnight. You can become director overnight. You can become a deputy minister overnight. I think that's the reason I gave the vote that the outgoing president had, because we still have an educated population and they are youthful population.
Right. All right. Thank you, Miatta, for that. Before we continue, someone else is joining in on this conversation. We're now joined by Martin K. Kohli, a Liberian activist. Thank you so much, Martin, for joining us.
Thank you, Blessing. It is always my pleasure to join you.
It's always a pleasure to have you join us as well. Now, Martin, we were just talking about the factors that led to Boakai winning this election, even though it seemed like a very tight race, or it was a tight race, and it seemed as though the power of incumbency came out to play at some point. But eventually, Boakai won, and Miatta gave some salient points, about analyzing Weah's administration. So how do you think that Judge Weah's time in office impacted the outcome of this election?
The first and foremost thing is I want to extend my congratulations to the president-elect. As a matter of fact, he is the 26th president of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Yeayeah Boakai. Coming to your question, it is important to state very clearly that there were a number of objective conditions that led to the dismissal and removal of President George Manuel Weah. Number one, the issue of corruption was a major factor. When President Weah came to office, some of us, we predicted exactly what would have happened. We asked the president to declare his assets. That was the first thing we did, because asset declaration is the first stage of fighting corruption. In fact, it is part of our law, the 2014 Code of Conduct Law. It is very clear. It says the president should declare his assets before taking power. The president should declare his assets periodically when he's in power. The president should also declare his assets after he shall have left power. President Weah came to power, he refused to declare his assets. He began to break his properties down. He started building duplexes, mansions, and estates. We had to compel him after 6 months to declare his assets. The next thing that led to his ouster is that the issue of youth unemployment. Youth unemployment is very critical in the country. Here is a president who came to power. He did not attract a single investment company to the country. A lot of our people were unemployed. And as you are aware, when people are unemployed, they are angry. They are hungry. So a lot of our people bear the brunt of the mismanagement, misrule President Manuel Weah. He had no other option but to put him out. He takes the country resources. He goes to watch his son playing football while our national team does not even have a budget to operate. This is a president who goes to the basketball court when 4 auditors are killed. This is not empathy. This is not sympathy. This is not humanity. This is cruelty, injustice. Today, those 4 auditors have not gotten justice. 3 children got missing. He went to the studio to make music. How does that sound to you, Blessing? Insensitivity to the highest level. So he came to power to seek his own interest and not the public interest. Another reason why he had to leave, he employed or he hired dozens of incompetent people, dozens of them, who did not have the credential, who did not have the expertise, they did not have the qualification to make any real difference in the public service. So the president told me he abuses power. The other day with his chairman, mobile model, accusing him of even abusing young women in exchange for jobs. So they did a lot to our people. Our people were subjected to inhuman treatment, and we had to stop it. We had an obligation to bring this president down, to bring him to his knees, so that the popular merit and interest of the people can prevail.
All right. Thank you so much for that analysis. Now, let me come back to you, Miatta. Now that we know that there is a new administration coming up in January, because we do understand that Judge Weah will be stepping down in January, What are the challenges that Joseph Boakai is likely to face, seeing how, I mean, there's no incoming administration that doesn't inherit a lot of backlog from the previous administration? So what are some of these challenges that bedevil Liberia as a whole?
I think the incoming president, first thing, let me say a big thank you to my little brother, Martin. Martin, thank you. You are a true fighter. You stand for a cause, and my respect. I love you. I respect you. I mean, I can't thank you enough. God bless you for fighting for a cause, for just cause. Thank you so much. Blessing at this time, the incoming president, we have to start everything from scratch. Let me put it that way. Everything is broken down. So the challenges is so huge. Like we're just graduating from war 1990 up to 2005. So the incoming president, going to start from scratch because, as I said from the beginning, every sector is broken down. Every sector is completely broken down, corruption everywhere. As I speak to you, government officials are looting their offices everywhere, packing everything to carry. So he's gonna start from scratch. Trust me. Everything he got so much challenges that he's gonna face. It's not just one sector. In every sector, he's going to start from scratch. He have to start all over because the expectation is so huge of the Liberian people.
All right. Now, finally, I'm going to ask the next question, Martin. What do you think Boakai's administration, his presidency, will mean for the future of Liberia going forward?
To be frank with you, this is a victory for democracy in Liberia. This is a victory for justice and equality, especially for...
Martin, are you there? All right, unfortunately, we lost both our guests, but I want to say a big thank you to Miatta Yeayeah, the Executive Director, Sisters Hand Liberia in Monrovia, and of course, Martin K. and Coley, a Liberian activist who is, by the way, currently in exile. Thank you so much for joining us.